how investigators tracked down Saddam Hussein. You know, for months, the American military searched with state-of-the-art satellites, helicopters, elite special ops forces, and every single trail just went completely cold. So today, we're going to look at how they finally cracked the case, not with some crazy advanced technology, but by completely rewriting the fundamental rules of their manhunt.
I am Saddam Hussein. I am the president of Iraq, and I am willing to negotiate. Think about that for a second. This iconic surrender, coming from a disheveled man crawling out of a literal spider hole, was the climax of one of the greatest manhunts in modern history. But getting to this exact moment, getting this man to raise his hands in the faint beam of a soldier's flashlight required an incredible, paradigm-shifting detective effort. Let's look at how we actually got there. To set the historical stage real quick, back in early 2003, the Bush administration controversially accused Saddam of hiding weapons of mass destruction, right? This led to a massive invasion in March. Baghdad fell incredibly fast, within weeks. But here's the crazy part. When soldiers stormed those extravagant palaces hoping to capture the dictator, they found nobody. He vanished just as quickly as his empire did, which kicked off a manhunt that lasted all the way until December.
Now, initially, the US military used this famous deck of cards strategy. You probably remember this. They mapped out the old regime, making Saddam the ace of spades, and they quickly started rolling up the high-ranking cards. They got the 8 of spades, Deputy Prime Minister Tariq Aziz. They grabbed the 5 of clubs, the head of intelligence. They even captured his presidential secretary, the ace of diamonds. And then in July, they dealt a massive blow when Saddam's own sons, Uday and Qusay, were discovered in Mosul and killed in a fierce firefight.
So, 3 aces are down, right? But the ace of spades was still totally out of reach. Despite capturing all these top figures representing the fallen regime, interrogators realized they had a massive problem. These political insiders had absolutely no idea where Saddam the fugitive was hiding. I mean, Tariq Aziz might have known how the government in Baghdad operated, but he didn't know the desperate man hiding in the dirt. The investigation had basically hit a brick wall.
And this is where the whole story pivots. Defense Intelligence Agency interrogator Eric Maddox, who was working up in Tikrit, realized the old strategy was completely failing. He asked a brilliant question that honestly changed the entire direction of the investigation. What if the path to Saddam didn't run through the aces? What if it ran through the quiet, everyday people he still trusted after his entire regime collapsed?
So Maddox and his team did something radical. They literally threw out the old intelligence map. They stopped looking at cabinet ministers, generals, politicians, and palaces. Instead, they built a completely new map based on Saddam's roots in the Tikrit region. In that world, family ties and tribal loyalty mean everything. They started looking for blood relatives, local tribesmen, bodyguards, and drivers. They were hunting for the actual people who would sneak a desperate fugitive some food and keep him hidden from the world.
This new hyper-local map led them straight to a specific family branch, the al-Muslit family. Out of this hidden network, one name started popping up again and again: Mohammed Ibrahim Omar al-Muslit. Now, this guy wasn't a famous general. You wouldn't see his face on CNN, but he was a deeply, deeply trusted insider. Maddox knew for a fact that if Mohammed Ibrahim was in that inner circle, he was the guy who knew exactly where Saddam was.
Okay, here's where it gets kind of wild. In early December, this new trail leads troops to a rented house near Samarra. Mohammed Ibrahim isn't there, but they arrest his son. During the interrogation, the son makes this passing, seemingly innocent comment. He says, "My father and his friend often went there to fish." Now, in the intelligence world, a hobby isn't just a hobby, it's a clue. Investigators knew Saddam had a massive weakness for maskouf, Iraq's national dish of grilled freshwater fish. It's his absolute favorite. If the fugitive wanted his favorite meal, who was going to go catch it for him?
Following that culinary breadcrumb set off this incredible domino effect. Maddox immediately orders a raid on a Samarra fish farm right on the Tigris River. Again, no Mohammed Ibrahim. But they do capture local fishermen who give up a brand new name, Mohammed Kadir. And tracking Kadir moves the whole operation out of Samarra and straight toward a safe house down in Baghdad.
So special ops raid this Baghdad safe house and bring in a group of hooded detainees. But the clock is literally ticking for Maddox. He's actually scheduled to fly out of Iraq in a matter of hours. And as the minutes tick by, with these men refusing to say a word, it really felt like the main target, Mohammed Ibrahim, had completely slipped through their fingers yet again.
Then, suddenly, the tense silence in that holding area breaks. Kadir finally speaks up, and he drops an absolute bombshell. He tells the interrogators that the guy they are tearing the entire country apart looking for is actually sitting right in front of them, just mixed in with the other detainees.
Maddox practically sprints over to the silent men. He pulls off the first hood. Nope, not him. He pulls off the second hood. Still not him. But pulling off that third hood reveals the heavy face of Mohammed Ibrahim Omar al-Muslit. After this massive, sweeping manhunt, the key to the entire puzzle had been sitting right in their temporary holding area for hours.
And from that exact moment, the hunt is in its absolute final stage. After hours of intense, grueling questioning, Ibrahim breaks. He gives them the golden ticket, the exact coordinates they'd been chasing for 9 months. It was a farm near Adwar, just south of Tikrit. Saddam was no longer a ghost on a whiteboard. They had an address.
That intelligence was instantly pushed to commanders in Tikrit. The detective work was over. It was time for action. On December 13, 2003, Operation Red Dawn was officially a go.
Under the cover of total darkness, 600 troops from the 4th Infantry Division and Task Force 121 hit the ground. They locked down 2 farm compounds, codenamed Wolverine 1 and Wolverine 2. Assault teams are frantically tearing through every building, checking outbuildings, checking animal pens. The standing order was crystal clear. If he is here, do not let him disappear again.
But incredibly, they find nothing. After 9 months of non-stop searching, this final raid was on the absolute brink of failure. The mission was literally moments from collapsing, but the search teams just refused to pack it in. They kept scanning the dirt until one soldier noticed something just a bit off, a crudely camouflaged cover on the ground. When they pulled back the dirt, they found a strange piece of styrofoam.
And underneath that styrofoam, it wasn't a massive bunker or a weapons cache. It was a narrow, pitch-black spider hole. Soldiers immediately aimed their weapons down into the dark. One guy was actually about to drop a frag grenade in there thinking it was a booby trap, but right before he pulled the pin, 2 hands reached up from the darkness into the light. And that was the end of the line. That incredible pivot from hunting politicians on a deck of cards to tracking down tribal loyalties and a guy who liked grilled fish actually worked. The man who once ruled an entire nation through absolute fear was literally pulled out of the dirt, and it led to that famous worldwide declaration, "Ladies and gentlemen, we got him."
But, as we wrap up this explainer on the intelligence behind the capture, it does leave us with a pretty heavy, lingering thought. Because catching the Ace of Spades was a masterclass in intelligence work, absolutely. But his capture didn't bring instant peace to Iraq. The war raged on. So it makes you wonder, can capturing one single man, even the ultimate target, truly end a complex conflict? It's a question that echoed years later during the hunt for Osama bin Laden. What do you think? Does cutting off the head of the snake end the fight, or does it just start a new one?